This is Mary Bookavalis from What's My Scene magazine, and you're with Star Scene and the very famous Jack Howard, legendary trumpet player for years for Hunters and Collectors and a few other bands. And now he's with us today to talk about his new album. Hi.
Hey Mary, how are
you? Good, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
That's okay. Your new album, basically it is songs that you usually perform at your residency at the Jogs Bar.
Yeah, look, that's where it started. We've kind of been playing there for about 4 years now on a Sunday, once a month, and it kind of just started as a bit of a, now and again, but it's really developed into kind of something special. And look, I mean, and in the kind of, I guess, well, let's talk pre-COVID, because COVID's changed everything.
Yeah.
But just to have a once a month regular residency where we could play and kind of not have to push the barrow too hard, if you know what I mean. Not be constantly, advertising and pushing on Facebook and, harassing people to come. You just play, everybody comes along, everyone has a good time. And we're playing original songs, it's not a covers gig. Yeah. And we can introduce new material and everybody loves it. That's a really good scene. It's a massive thing seeing a live band. I mean, I know that, everybody's doing the streaming thing, which is fantastic. It's a great way to keep in touch and great way for people to present new stuff. But we did a streaming thing a little while ago from Dogs, and it was a live thing. And just to be in front of my band again, in front of the bass amp and in front of the kick drum, in front of the guitar amp, and having that force behind me while we were playing, it's really special. It's really special. Like there was I think Black Cab were doing something a little while ago, streaming.
Yeah.
And the last Black Cab that we went to at Northcote Social Club, it was a physical force. We were up the front, and the video projection and the sonics of it was just amazing. So it's I suppose we're maybe all getting used to it not being around, but I mean, when we get back to it, it's going to be like, oh my God, this is so good. So, hopefully sooner than later.
Getting to the album, I loved it, loved the songs. And thematically, it's as if you did write it nowadays because it feels like a search for more.
Yeah, look, it's funny, I've reflected on it a bit. I mean, I guess it's less directly personal, perhaps, than CDs that I've done in the past. And in fact, I've just been writing. I'm going to kind of launch the first single for the record next Thursday night. And the video that I've done. One of the fun things that I've been doing in isolation is learning my Final Cut Pro skills. So I've made a whole pile of videos. maybe perhaps semi-amateurish, but look, I mean, effective, homemade videos. Yep. And the first song is a song called Reason to Believe, and it's very much kind of a questioning, kind of searching state of the modern world kind of lyric, but it's all pre-COVID. It's nothing to do with COVID, but it does actually feel quite relevant to, the total chaos that we're living in at the moment.
Most definitely. And that was, I have to say, one of my favourite songs on the album.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just the lyrics all make believe, the world turns, the revolution will be brought to you by Instagram, I love it. And why do you think people yearn for Reason to Believe?
Oh, geez. Well, given that I suppose, I mean, a number of factors, really. I mean, the total lack of leadership that probably everybody's feeling across the world at the moment is just, and normally, whether you like or dislike the main figures involved, it at least feels like a degree of stability that's going on out in the world, even if it's, completely shallow and, just surface. And of course, all the money and the business and all the rest of it, and the corruption operates in all the old usual ways. But I think just the fracturedness of the modern world as well, I mean, everyone's on Facebook, everyone's on Instagram, it's just snap, searching from this to that, trying to find some substance, I suppose, and maybe this whole COVID thing, I know a lot of conversations that I've had, people have, had time and space you know, which they've never had, possibly in their lives, you know, or in their adult lives, actually had time to slow down. And you go, okay, no, I don't actually, I have absolutely nothing on the weekend except watching the footy and trying to think of something for dinner. So I don't know, used right. It's you know, maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's something that people have learned out of it. You know, I like to think, I hope I have. I don't know.
You know, Simple Men has that theme of life lost. And when you were talking about now we have more time, do you think, so it just feels so relatable, even though it was written pre-COVID?
That's a funny song. It's kind of basically about my dad, or perhaps the generation of men who, well, theoretically had a more straightforward life.
Yeah.
You know, where you kind of had a path, you did your apprenticeship, you did your, you know, you went into your trade, and that was your life. I mean, my dad was a cabinet maker and did that his whole life and taught apprentices doing that. And I guess it's kind of about him, you know. I mean, there's lines in there, you know, father, husband, carpenter, but what lurks within, you know,
Yeah.
and what kind of man he really was, you know. And my dad was a kind of, you know, I mean, probably, you know, I feel a lot like him myself, you know, an introverted, didn't speak a lot, didn't communicate a lot, you know, didn't talk about his feelings especially. And I mean, I'm at the point of my life probably at a similar age that he would have been, and my sons have moved out of home, and, you know, I miss them really badly, and I kind of reflect on all the same kind of things perhaps that are being talked about in the song. Interesting.
With another song that was just so beautiful, Restlessness, I feel, you know, listeners will really relate to this song. We seem to be, again, in constant search of something else. Can you, I mean, your lines within it, what do you think can cure this endless restlessness?
Oh, perhaps nothing. I don't, you know, I think it's possibly everybody's lot in life to, you know, never exactly fulfill the ideals that you think you're going to be able to achieve. But I mean, I guess that's part of the beauty of it, or whatever you want to call it. That's a really old song. That's a really old song from I won't delve too deeply, but from a pretty shite time in my life,
right.
That lyric. And it was an old song that I did on the very first record I put out, Secrets of White Lies, but we'd started playing it live with this band. And the thing about this band is just got a kind of real simple power about it that I really love. And that's, I mean, part of the rationale for making this record was to actually really feature this band on these songs. You know, even though some of them we've been playing a while, some of them are, you know, quite old, but Restlessness has just shaped up fantastic. And I think the recorded version of Restlessness is, you know, one of the real high points on the record from my own point of view anyway.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And as you were talking about your bandmates, my God, the list, such talented musicians.
Oh, yeah.
And so unassuming, all of you, including you.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's kind of taken a while to gel into this. There's been many versions, well, not many versions, but there's been a few versions of the band, which is Jack Howard and Long Lost Brothers, and Sisters these days as well.
Sisters, I love that addition.
Yeah, I know, they're great sisters. Ed Bates on pedal steel, who's, I have to say, his contribution on this record is just magical. He adds so much to these songs musically. And Nicky Del Rey, who's been my long time, you know, musical compadre for about 25 years, is in stellar form. And then Cal and Rob. Rob Walker's a bit of a late kind of comer. He's in this other band that I do, this Bacharach show that I do. Really beautiful, thoughtful bass player, but, you know, just has kind of great power and groove as well. Yeah. And the combination of him and Cal McAlpine on drums. And then, our firecracker, Fiona Lee Maynard, you know, who's just sensational live. I mean, she's incredible live. Yeah. And you know, it's a real heap to this record. And plus, Amy Valencourlis is percussionist who's done a whole pile of stuff on this record. Congas and bowed cymbals and triangles and hubcaps, you know, all these beautiful little fine details that have really helped with the songs as well. So, yeah, no, I feel very blessed to be playing with these guys. It was great. It was great to get in the studio. I mean, I've done a few records with Craig Harness down at Hot House, and we got in there and we just recorded all the songs in a day. You know, we just smashed it out, and then we, you know, like did the overdubs, etc., and then tinkered with them for a while. But you know, it was a fantastic day's recording. It was very special.
And you have played with many artists, as well as, you know, fronting your own band. Of course, we know you from Hunters and Collectors to begin with, but you know, the more recent things, you went on tour with Midnight Oil, you played with The Break, one of my favourites, Violent Femmes, you know, you've done so much more, and you're a teacher as well.
I am a teacher. I'm between remote lessons as we speak. I have parent-teacher reviews to attend to in an hour or two. Yeah, look, I've just been lucky. I mean, there probably aren't many rock and roll trumpeters around. You know, there's a few that, and I guess the ones that are around are probably more known for like soul and funk stuff. You know, it might be, you know, the Bamboos. I mean, the brilliant Ross Irwin, who plays with, you know, Cat Empire and the Bamboos. There aren't many kind of old school rock and roll trumpet players, and maybe I kind of have cornered that market perhaps a little bit. So I kind of get to do. Yeah, look, I mean, I have been lucky. I've gotten to play some with amazing people. I mean, that Midnight Oil tour in 2017 was 77 shows around the world, starting in Brazil. You know, it was phenomenal. But, you know, I kind of get to, you know, Tex Perkins and Black Eyed Susans and all sorts of people. Did some recording with Briggs a while ago, you know, so it's good. You know, it's good. I feel blessed.
Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, look, it kind of came out of that Midnight Oil tour. I kept a blog on that, a Facebook blog, about, you know, just the behind the scenes kind of life of I called it Confessions of a Midnight Oil Sideman at the time. And it ended up being really popular. People really liked it. And lots of people were going, oh, you should write a book, you should write a book. And I thought, okay. I thought, okay, I'll do it. And I had this gap between the end of the tour and going back to school, and I wrote the majority of it then. Anyway, so it's coming out with the CD, Small Moments of Glory, and you can buy it on my Bandcamp site as a package, CD and book, jackhoward.bandcamp.com.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'll let you get back to teaching.
Back to my teaching. All right, good on you. Thanks.